because it's got it's a different. Almost every control works slightly differently to the way you might want to. So the ER20 is a German diesel loco, called, as the ER stands for Eurorunner, and it's a modern German diesel. It's a really interesting looking one. It's fairly plain. But driving it is anything but plain, because rather than controlling the throttle, you're controlling the target tractive effort. Let me explain that. Right, so I'm not really doing this to play the scenario, so don't worry about that. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do at all. That's what I wanted to do, just lock the view. Right, so this... Let me just stop the train because it's rolling because I left the brake in release. Right, here we go. Right, so first of all, Control Enter Shift Enter is your normal PZB instructions, and you can see it defaults to PZB-M mode. I don't think this one can be changed. It's always on PZB-M. So the way that this works is unusual. If we look up here, you can see the tractive effort meter. Now, one of the things that's confusing this is because... Right, so let me just reset that. Because I've got the rail driver on, it's getting a little confused. Hopefully that will clarify it. So, oh yeah, I know, I need to reset the... I need to do a reset, but never mind. What I am going to do actually for the time being is turn the map off because it was getting in the way of what I want to show anyway. So this control is your power controller, and this is your tractive effort, and this is your speed. Now you've got the usual AFB, so the Y key will push the AFB up, yeah, and all it is plus and minus. That's on this controller, yeah, so you can use the C key then to bring it down, or you can operate it with this. Yeah, so for the time being I'm just going to set that to 0 just because otherwise that's going to just cause us confusion. So for this power controller you'll see it's got these different settings, so SB, E+, E, 0, Z and Z+. So Z means go, E means stop, and SB means emergency stop, I think. So in the 0 state, this target bug will always revert back to 0. In the Z state, it will hold its current position for throttle. So if I press the A and put it into Z, which you can see here, and now if I push it up to Z+, it will push up and then fall back to Z. And if while I do that you watch the bug, you can see the bug moves up. Right? So it's going to start applying throttle. If I now pull it, and it's gone back to Z, which will hold it. If I go back to 0, then it will fall back to 0. No, it's not going anywhere because I've got the brakes on, but that's fine. I don't particularly want to go anywhere right now. Now, if I push it up into Z+, let's put it up to 100. Right, now if I wanted to get that back to 50, if I push it back to Z, and then back to 0 and then up to Z, you can see it pushes it. So back to 0, back up to Z, and you can control it. So you're actually controlling the target force. So this is basically controlling how much acceleration that you actually want to do on it. And the same applies in the other way round. So if I push it back into E for the dynamic, this is the dynamic electric brake. If I now push it down into E+, the target will go down and then hold. If I go to 0 and then back to E, it will hold it. I can use that to control how much braking I want to do. Now, braking, what we'll do is we'll redo this again, this little bit, once we get moving, but I wanted to give an overview before we start. Now the brakes again get a little bit funky, so if I... cab light, L, that's the cab light, yeah. Of course that's the one next to the brake release. So at the moment the brake is in the 0 position, which is holding the brake at its current position. If I put it into release, it gradually releases. If I put it back to 0, it will hold it. So if I put it into BR, it will apply, and if I put it back to 0, it will apply. It will hold it. You can see the holding it, sorry I should say, by looking at the gauges here. So this is your brake cylinder and these are your brake pipe and main res. If I pull it all the way to FU, it will release a lot faster. It does a full release. So if you want to get going, you can just run through to there. If I now push it into BR, back to 0, BR, back to 0, you can see I can control how much braking I want. It's releasing just a little bit. And this is the one, the top one is actually the one that tells you how much braking you're actually applying. Right, so let us get moving. So having released the brake, I'm going to put the tractive effort meter up to about 150. Probably not the most elegant way of doing this, especially since I got it in reverse. Dole. It's because the rail driver's forcing it into reversed. Right. Let's stop the train again and start again. It's a problem. I was practicing earlier on with the rail driver. Right. Did you say FU? Yeah, well that's because that's what it says down there. See? FU. Right, now we're actually in the right gear. We can release the brakes and put it up onto 150 power, so that as the brakes come off we start moving. So start moving slowly. Right, so let's push the bit more power on by pushing it into Z+. Now you can actually see what internal regulator setting is on by looking at that. Yeah, so as the loco speeds up, so that the amount of a regulator being needed to be applied to achieve what you've desired for a throttle will change. You'll also find that its ability to achieve the amount of acceleration you want becomes less and less possible as well. Right, I'm just trying to let it get a bit of speed up, so that we can play around with the speed a little bit. Right, I pushed the acceleration, so now I've got the acceleration actually beyond. So I've asked for 250, and you'll notice that the amount of acceleration we're getting is now dropping, because as we speed up, your maximum acceleration will drop. Now, given that we're in monitoring, I'm actually going to... so if I now put it in 0 for the throttle, you'll see that the bug is going down, and then the power comes off, and now we're not applying any more acceleration. And you can hear the engine spin down. So if I just, if I'm going to end that now and go into, hopefully there's a green light. If I now decide I want to get back up to 100, push it into Z+, get that up to 100, and you'll see that the target tractive effort will come up to, or the actual tractive effort will come up to as far as it can. And once it does, the power will drop off. And as it is with the speed we're at, we can't get to that much that much acceleration. So we put it back to 0, and then put it back to Z. That's it, I want 50, that's what I want. So let's cut the power, and you can see it now managing the speed. So it's still accelerating quite happily. If AFB was set to a speed, then it would just be once you get to the speed, it cuts out the throttle and just manages maintaining that speed, same as you might expect. So for braking, so if I show you the braking side of it, so once the things come down to 0, if I pop it into E and then press it down into E+, I can apply some electric brakes, and then you'll see that we start slowing down. Again, I can apply a bit more electric brake. So this is why I say this one's a little bit different to drive, because you're actually you're setting target acceleration rather than setting the amount of power the loco's using. The loco will adjust the amount of power accordingly. So that's it slowing down on e-brake. Let's say we want a bit of air brake on there as well. Let's put it into 0 to manage the brakes. Apply brake, and then that's it. So all I've done is applied a little bit in the BR setting and back to 0 again, and now we've got air in the air brakes, and we're slowing down quite a bit. I probably went over something I shouldn't have done, because I'm not even looking outside the train. Never mind. Right, put that back in forward. Let's release and set some power up. This is the problem. I should have done is set myself up a little tutorial that basically had a straight piece of track, so because I could focus on what's going on inside the engine, inside the loco, and not worry about the rest. Yeah, I think we've got a problem in that I've probably gone past a red light or something like that. That must have been a SPAD, yeah. But that's because I'm not paying attention. But anyway, I think I've basically got the point across, to be perfectly honest. That's really all there is to it. That's the concept here, is that you've got control over the brake, you've got control over the power, and they're in a different way. So let me switch off PZB and see if that'll let us get going. Someone asked, Fury asked if there's any others like this. No, this loco is pretty unique actually. Right, so power's off, throttle's going on. Right, now we've shut PZB up. Let's put more power on, because what everyone needs is more power. Again, by more power, I'm putting it into Z+, and then watching this little this speed bug here go up. Starts wheel slipping, just let the power come down. Put it back into Z to maintain it. Put the power into 0, back into Z to maintain it. If you need to, just pop a little bit more back on again. Yeah, and then if you want to put your brakes on, make sure you've cleared your throttle first. And then down here, you look at the top gauge, to the BR, and then back up to 0 again to maintain it without going into an emergency application. And you can see we're slowing down quite nicely. Yes, my title is incorrect, isn't it? But it's too late to fix that now. Apologies. Right, so that's basically how you drive the ER20. So as you can see, yeah, it's an unusual looking beast. German diesel train, MRCE livery on Steam. I don't think there's anything else really to cover on here, because everything else is fairly self-explanatory. PZB controls as normal, PZB and CIFA are both there, as you've just seen. All the usual sander, cab light is over here. And so forth. So hopefully that is of use, and will help you actually get the best out of driving this one. Plopper says it's basically a sexy box on wheels. So yeah, so anyway, that is the ER20, how to drive, and how to mess up with CIFA. So I like to hit as many things as I can. Right, so let's move on to next thing today.